there's a young lady out there with 50,000 British pounds sterling. She can't buy a house still. And this has become a story in the BBC. And the responses I thought were quite funny. So I thought we'd just go through it because it's a interesting circumstance. But to start off, we're just going to promote something on lotusears.com, this being Éric Zemmour's Blockbuster speech. Themes, don't like them. It was a good speech. Go and check it out, the full thing.
I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed doing this breakdown of it.
Yeah, the last baseman in France.
Yeah, translated from French. So do go and check that out. It is very nice.
It does also really crack me up that he's a Jewish Algerian man. He's like, no, look, we need to get rid of all foreigners, and they don't know how to deal with it. I just love it.
Who else will lead the far right in France?
Yeah, exactly.
Jewish Algerian.
Exactly.
But there we are. But we'll get to the story. So you see, this blew up. This BBC article just says, I have £50,000 in savings, but I still cannot buy a house. And then there's a picture of some young girl. And
okay, before we get into this, right? I saw this headline going around, and I find that not plausible, even in the current environment.
Hard to believe. I can't disagree that most people looked at that and went, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, the responses, for example, someone says here 50 grand for a 200,000 or 250 pound house should be more than enough.
Yeah, I mean, most mortgages are like, you need like 5 or 10%, something like that. So she should be able to get a massive house for that.
Yeah.
She also says, someone else responds, she can afford a mortgage, just not one she feels entitled to.
That's what I'm thinking.
Someone else says, they can buy a house, just not the one they want. Someone else says, houses in the northeast, you could buy one for 50 grand. Like that. And someone else went with, try eating less avocados, but obviously ironic there. And
where the hell did she get 50k from anyway? It's got to be her parents.
She does have Just Stop Oil physiognomy.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that she still feels sort of more entitled than your average.
Just because she's young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, where does a young person get 50 grand from?
Yeah.
She doesn't look like she's cut out for OnlyFans. And I'm guessing, and she does, as you say, she's got the sort of upper class Just Stop Oil physiognomy. So I'm guessing mummy and daddy gave her 50 grand and she's like, but I can't buy the mansion I want.
Well,
am I right?
We'll see. So my personal favorite response, though, was someone said, quick, import more immigrants. But we'll get into the story itself, because here's the deets, as you can see here, the article in question. We see the subject of today, our interrogation. This is Freya over here.
God, she really does look like she's about to go and vandalize the Tate Modern, doesn't she?
I mean, I will admit, before we go further, couldn't have picked a worse subject for trying to make the point about how bad the housing market is, but go through it. So Freya, 24, is just one young person trying to get on the property ladder with no end in sight.
Where does a 24-year-old get 50 grand?
Well, she may have been working since she's 18, saving every penny, live with her parents, blah, blah, blah. Who knows?
Yeah, she looks the type, doesn't she?
Well, she says, I was told by previous generations to get a good degree and the rest will sort itself out, but it hasn't.
So that theory's already out the window.
Yeah, okay, she's not working since 18. She's got a degree, so she's a uni student, right? Freya said some support from family.
Ah, there we go.
There we are. Meant she was able to get her own deposit, but high interest rates and a lack of affordability, livability properties meant that she was stuck paying almost half her salary on renting.
No doubt.
Of mum and dad.
Yeah, well, no doubt she wants somewhere in London or some other city as well. So that's going to make it
and don't get me wrong,
possible.
I'm totally sympathetic to the cost of living, the house prices, and the mortgage crisis, obviously. There's just something about this.
But this is a bit odd. I mean, Bank of Mum and Dad. I mean, we've been over this, actually, I think, last time. And that was actually a significant option for if you want to buy a house, that is probably going to be where you're going to be going. Yeah. At 24, bit optimistic. Although, side question, I mean, why not 24? Just why can't we build a society where people can buy a house at 24? That would be nice as a goal.
Well,
instead of always being like, oh, what if it was slightly less worse? And it's like, man, I'd love to have aspirations back in this country. I'm just saying, I'm sick of every single day being like, oh, but what if it was worse, but not as bad as you're predicting?
Honestly, back in 1992,
I have the data.
In the before times.
Yeah, in the before times, before Tony Blair.
We play a game?
Yeah, we can, because I already know where you're going with this, because 50 grand would have been the house.
Can I just add, what she said about the, I'm sure you experienced this as well, Callum, being told that a university degree is, the sort of one-size-fits-all solution to all your problems. I was told that as well.
I bet she's got a great degree too.
Everyone has been lied to. Don't go to uni. Waste of time. In fact, government today, I don't know if you saw, but our tweet saying that 1 in 5 university degrees financially leaves the person worse off than if they hadn't gone. So you've got a 20% chance of being worse off financially.
I think that's optimistic.
If you
don't you remember?
Well, that's only negligible. So like, there's another 20% where you're earning a whole grand more.
Yeah, oh, brilliant.
But don't you remember Tony? Well, of course you don't remember Tony Blair. Education.
50% of people in university.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, but 1960, Average age of first-time buyer, 24.
Mhm.
So there we are. Average time spent to get the deposit was 2 years in 1960. Today it is 5 years. So there you have it.
I mean, 5 years, that's not as bad as I was expecting.
That's the average, I think, for 2011, actually. No, I
Oh, okay.
remember my statistics I was looking at. Yeah. Anyway, another time perhaps to have the conversation about could we have a nice country, but whatever. She says here, she has a well-paid job as a scientific content creator for an educational games company, but said she cannot see how single young professionals are expected to buy without further support. I kind of hate this. Support, support, support. Just give me more support. No, you're the foreigners. Simple as. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is kind of my shtick at this point because it's true as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like this is the whole thing, isn't it? You're letting 1 million people a year.
No, but the whole
knock-on
thing of like,
effects.
oh, I just want more government money.
Moreover, as well, there's no maybe a husband in the picture, perhaps
No, but
could
I
help
mean,
ease the burden.
in her defense, it shouldn't be like she's got a good job. She's got 50 grand. She should be able to get a nice place.
Yeah. She says here, my salary isn't enough to cover the threshold to get a mortgage of £200,000, she said. Now, the idea she's going to buy something for 250 grand, bit optimistic, I would say. We'll get back to that. She says, although I work full time, I can't earn enough. I don't drink, I don't go out, I don't eat more than once a month, and normally for a friend's birthday, which is all good news. I mean, most people who are bad with money smoke it away, drink it away, or gamble it away, so that's nice. Freya, who pays £775 in rent a month, excluding bills, in her one-bedroom flat in Cardiff, said, I wouldn't mind renting if it wasn't so expensive for a property that often comes with a huge amount of issues. But she's right about that. I mean, renting is absolutely bloody miserable.
Oh, yeah.
She says in here, she said she often found properties in the Welsh capital were low quality, and a previous property she had that she was living in, the ceiling collapsed, meant it was so cold I couldn't actually sleep. Well, she's not actually wrong about that. If we take a look at modern houses, I mean,
No, the decline's totally real.
Is totally true. My thingy has stopped, John, so I'll probably just unplug that at some point. I don't know if my mouse has died as well now. There we are. Okay, I have no controls. I'm going to rely on John from here on out. So there we are. This is one thing. This is a Welsh building inspector who started making TikToks about how bad the country is.
Oh, yeah.
And, they're good fun, so let's play this and enjoy the low-quality housing.
Hey guys, back again, starting off. This turf has been installed on top of soil pieces. Look at the state of these drain miters. They are shocking. This meter box is covered in excess mortar. This property's handed over. Could nobody clean that just before they moved in? Awesome job here, guys. This gate bolt doesn't line up to the key. We got an absolutely shocking finish to the mastic sealer on this front door. Look at the state of that. This brickwork is 14mm out of plumb. The tolerance is 4mm per meter. We've got a nice split to the edge of this door. Look at that. Lovely. This newel post is 31mm out of plumb. That's ridiculous. We got a massive gap between the wall and the floor and to these tiles. Look at that. This shower wants to be a swimming pool by the looks of it. We got an extremely poor finish to the mastic sealer on this windowsill. And how would you like your windows, sir? I'd like them all cracked, please. That window was cracked. This window's cracked. That window's cracked. Everything's cracked. We got an absolutely shocking finish to this patching. That is ridiculous. And what is this? Architrave upside down along the stairs. Just buy the correct timber.
Anyway, that's just a fun little look at new builds. Eastern European pride in British building. Thank you for your work, Poles.
Weirdly, standards have gone down all over the place.
Strangely, some of you weren't doing your best, because why would you care? It's not literally for even your own people, never mind yourself. So there you are. So new builds just generally are crap. But we'll get some numbers, shall we? Because she mentioned £775 a month. She said that was about almost half her income, so let's assume it's 45%. So she's on £1,700 a month. That's £20,400 a year. £400 more than minimum wage. So no, okay, that doesn't really make sense that she's considered herself well paid. We'll ignore what she said then and just give her £2,000 a month. So that's £4,000 more than the minimum wage. It's still not a good salary, but there you are. If we go to the next one here, you can see more about this. Just a sideline about how British wages have gone to S. So in 2022, the most common full-time wage for work was 30 grand. So in 2023, it's about 32 grand. So it's a 6% rise, but 10% inflation, so it's 4% pay cut as well. My point being, she's not actually in a well-paid job by her own standards. No. Let's just assume that it's good for what she does. Maybe that's what she meant.
Or she's just flexing.
Maybe. But we'll go to the deals. Let's check out if there's any deals. She says here, a typical 5-year fixed mortgage deal now has an interest rate of 6%, a level not seen since the last financial crisis. Great. I mean, I saw a lot of boomers, for example, responding to the story with that part, saying, well, I used to pay 10%. In the before times, before foreigners.
Yes. I used to pay 10% on a house that was 50% cheaper.
Yeah. I have a boomer we can go and have a look at
Probably more than that, actually.
for this. A nobody, a former MP, not anyone with any power during that time period. Edwina here, just to tell us all the baby boomers who are now mortgage-free homeowners went through paying interest rates of 16%. It was normal. We didn't have much of a choice, but home ownership rocketed, and we survived.
Edwina, the average price of a house now is what, 300K? The average price of a house then was what, 50K?
It's a percentage problem. I mean, there's a local children's entertainer who made a response to this. It was rather nice from Mr. Rat, if we can get him up. They were 3 to 4 times the wages back then. They're now 10 times, 20 times the wages. This is why everyone hates boomers, as you made at that point. 10% on 80K is 8K. 10% on 200K is 20K.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Why could this be? Why could this be? Well, let's go to the next link back to it and find out. Let's look at this graph, shall we? The number of homes available is down by a third, adding even more pressure to buyers. I don't know how that could have happened. Now, we can see here supply is down. Oh, well.
Okay, but I'm worried about
The demand bit.
I'm worried about the Julia Hartley Brewer angle here, where it's like, Callum,
Build more
obviously,
houses
yeah.
is not a solution.
just concrete of every inch of this country.
For who? Not the youth of Britain,
The people who need the houses.
who are going, we need to have the houses to house these people.
And
We're gonna
then,
build the houses.
when that doesn't stem the problem, we can just build upwards until
Yeah.
eventually it's just Somalians in the stratosphere.
Britain. I mean, I agree. I'm sure many people have noticed sick of the like Westminster response of just like, what if we build more houses? Like, yes. For who? Name them.
Yeah, the incredible Tom Harwood take. I'm told something happened in the late 90s to cause that massive spike in demand. Are we?
Still
Any
going to find it out.
ideas?
Oh, but that quote from earlier, you can get a house in the Northeast for 50 grand. I thought I'd check it out because that's quite tempting. So we went to Rightmove and I looked up a few properties. This one just happened to be the most funny thing I find for 50 grand.
That's cute, man.
That's nice.
It's not a house, obviously.
Oh, it's like an old church or
An
something.
old monastery with no insulation, which you
Wood.
can move into for 40 grand then. If you can
Yeah, but that's
get
awesome.
licensing. Anyway, my point being that
My
most of the ones
my
for 50
point
grand.
being, right, that if you're a right-wing Christian group, club together, buy it.
and then live in the middle of nowhere in the Northeast.
Yeah, rejuvenate local community. What do you want to do? Live in London?
Yeah, I don't know what people are going to do when they move to this side
Go
of the
on
road
walks?
monastery.
Think of how many tower blocks we could build on those hills.
I was going to say, it
Oh.
looks beautiful. You could go for a nice ramble, couldn't you?
But I did find a lot of other properties as well. It's just that they're all up for auction, so that's not actually the price. They
Right,
sell
okay.
for. People who don't know. But the entire youth of the South moving to the North, I don't think is actually a solution for a couple of reasons. One, there's no job for them to go to. But number two, Northerners exist is my main complaint because it's cruel for the Northerners.
To inflict Southerners on them.
Yes, sincerely. Because, I mean, they've got jobs and are trying to also buy a house and are having a tough time.
Yeah.
And then all the Southerners turn up and make their house prices skyrocket
yeah.
by immigrating to the North because a bunch of immigrants immigrated to the South and made house prices sky. I mean, it just seems mean.
It is kind of just kicking the problem down the road.
Where are the Northerners going to move to?
Scotland?
Don't do
Get
that
rid
to
of the
them.
Scots. Anyway. But let's check out Freya because I decided
Probably
to
a lot more Northerners than there are Scots. We've got a sort of Tibetan solution on our hands.
Oh, God, you're actually
Anyway,
right. Another time.
suddenly demographic displacement will become an issue.
We'll go check out where Freya wanted to live because I did, and I found
Just
this.
as a quick thing there, you know there are more Pakistanis in Britain than there are Welsh.
Yeah.
There are just
Absurd.
more Pakistanis in Britain than there are Welsh people. It's mad, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, I just want to let that stay in the air for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyway, so back to Freya.
How does Mark Drakeford feel about it? Probably very positive.
Allahu Akbar. So we'll click on that second image there because I just looked up, what does she want exactly? And there we are. There's a house, it's got 2 bedrooms. Presumably she wants to get a boyfriend and live there or something, start a family.
I mean, that's really not an extreme ask on her part, is it?
190 grand for
If she was asking for like a 4-bedroom detached mansion or something,
no,
I'd be like, okay, fair enough.
terraced house for people listening. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, listed as first-time buyers. Look, nicely presented, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it looks pretty reasonable, all things considered.
Check out the financing.
Go on.
It's not fun. So you get the next image on there, which is I don't know, I think it's the one before perhaps. Or maybe I didn't put it in here. I thought I did. The next image, John, not the next tweet. Sorry, I don't have control because the things are broken. so I can't do that next, not before. And we can look at that. There you are. She's got a deposit. Monthly repayments £1,123 on an interest rate of 8.45.
God, there's a lot in there.
So you might think I'm a bit mad putting in that interest rate. Well, we'll go and check out the current interest rate. So if we go to the next one here, you can see those interest rates, the next link. And there you have. So I use the SVR there, which is not true. That wouldn't be the first one you'd get. That's for people remortgaging, to be fair. So you can get it down to £885 if you get the smallest possible interest rate. But that's also 5-year fixed and is going to go up. But with 44.25% of the income on the mortgage, she would be spending.
Yeah.
Who's going to actually approve that mortgage? I wouldn't lend her that money. I'm not actually confident she wouldn't end up defaulting, because she probably would. Because remember, when you take an interest as well, they also warn you this could go up by another 2%. So be sure you could pay that, and she probably couldn't. So yeah, I actually am not surprised. She probably wouldn't be able to buy a house in the range she's looking for. But we'll go real quick to the next one here. This is a Telegraph article about why demand.
Just as a quick thing here, this is just a brilliant advert for marriage, though, isn't it?
You could try.
Get married, and then suddenly you can afford that house.
You then have a kid. She definitely better be staying home, at which point you can't pay the mortgage because she's not working anymore. You could try childcare, and good luck. But they say here about demand. So buy equity across the country has fallen 45% in June. That's good. It's good for houses. There we are. This is all just about interest rates have gone up, so no one's buying.
Yeah.
This there. I mean, they say here Coventry Building Society is now not offering any 2-year fixed mortgages. Zero. At zero, no percentage will they offer you one because they're expecting the market to completely be too risky. But we'll go back to Freya's numbers real quick because, as I mentioned, if we scroll down on this, I don't know if it has the details I put in. It does not. Never mind. If it goes up by 3%, she's paying £1,100 again, even on the lower percentage we thought was on. So we've already lowered her expectations by 60 grand. We're not there. So what about a flat? Let's put her at a flat in Cardiff. You know, Freya, I'm here. I'm your new estate agent. So
85
pay me for this segment. So check this one here. There we are. What's that? 85 grand for a flat.
Pretty reasonable.
Needs a bit of work. Be honest.
Sure, but
go through the images.
She's 24. She's got some time in her hands.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it does need a bit of work. Jesus Christ.
Touch of paint,
flat. Kind of. This looks like it's a flat in Afghanistan.
A lot of malls. The flats in Afghanistan were better.
I can bet.
Bathrooms are better. Never mind. There we are. It's also in not a great area of Cardiff. So there's that. There are 6 options though. She wants a flat with 2 bedrooms. So this is just the first one I found for her. This was the third most expensive. Second most expensive was only being sold to investors, so no. The first most expensive was for cash buyers only. The fourth and the fifth most expensive were retirements only, and the sixth was also only cash. Right. So that was the only one I could find for her in that price range. So we're up her budget a bit. So here we go. This is for 130.
Can we look through those pictures a bit, John? Because that actually looks quite nice.
This is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been able to actually find something here for her. No, nice stuff. Do you want to guess the catch?
No, you have to take a refugee in with you.
Might as well. There's 100 years on the lease, and then it reverts back to the person who owns the land. So you don't
it's a leasehold.
This is something I explained to a Serbian friend of mine who couldn't comprehend how we do apartments in the West.
Yeah.
So in Serbia, if you buy an apartment, you own the apartment. You own literally the air where the apartment is.
Yeah.
And if the apartment gets destroyed by a natural disaster,
it's like an ice core. You own everything down to the center of the earth.
Yes, they have to rebuild, and that air where your apartment is still belongs to you.
Yeah.
And the insurance company, for example, if your building is destroyed, has to rebuild your apartment.
Yeah.
So we don't get that. We don't actually own our apartments. You get them on leasehold. And that means you have it for 100 years in this case. Usually they're about 1,000 years, which means it doesn't really matter. But 100 is not great because as soon as it gets to 1, it is worth £0. So you're literally just burning money the longer you own it. Anyway, I've done enough house searching. Can't be bothered. If anyone in the audience wants to marry Freya, go and find her a house, I suppose. Send her it. And there you are. You'll all live happily ever after. But
she seems to have rich parents.
She certainly does. Imagine you could get some of that money. I'm just sort of advertising Freya as a partner now. There we are. There's people in the audience who do with it, so go and try out. Anyway, we'll go to the next one here because house prices. I have a theory about why they might have gone up.
I love the graph.
I'm just having a guess.
Because the thing is, like you can see on this graph, it only goes up to 400,000, and so to actually track in the actual number of migrants who have come into Britain since 2020 to 2022, you actually have to go miles, and that's probably not even high enough, actually.
Meant to be about 600 grand.
Yeah.
In terms of foreigners, not money. But no, really, guess. I mean, if we go to the next link here, I mean, it just goes on and on. The reasons. I mean, that's it. Why is demand way up? We're not having any babies, and also supply is way down. Why? Who knows?
Something
So-
happened.
Maybe we're in a bubble. I mean, a lot of those articles, for example, were talking about perhaps we're in a bubble. Crash is coming. Soon,
Yeah, I don't
boys.
see how the crash is coming.
House prices could go down 5%. Oh, and then you could buy one. That's 5% since last year, not since house prices went up 30% in 2 years. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not really convinced there is a bubble.
No.
I'm actually quite worried that nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
And house prices will just stay about the same because the demand is ridiculously high. All right, back to renting real quick because it's a W for the landlords that the house prices stay up. So
Of course it is.
good news for you. Here's The Guardian reporting the average monthly rent outside London is now more than £1,000.
Jesus.
It's gone up 25%, according to Hamptons. Cool. This is a 2 up, 2 down situation.
I wonder why that is.
Grand for that. 25%. Wonder why. Should we go for a single room instead? Because bugger buying a 2 up, 2 down. Or sorry, renting one. Never going to buy one. Let's go to the single rooms instead. Let's see how that's doing. £700 a month on average. There we are. So, good luck, boys.
Wild.
Spare rooms data shows that rents have increased in the UK everywhere. In Edinburgh, it's up 25%, Middlesbrough, 21%, and Manchester, 20%. And the rest of the country, around about the same percentages. And I have to wonder why that happened, because that isn't the work of foreigners. The demand side, yeah, somewhat, obviously. But who could have made the money worthless? I'll just end this off as I usually do, which is the last one here. Just see inflation graph. There you are.
Yeah.
Since 2020, 25% of inflation. And in the same time, as they say, since the pandemic, so 2020, rent's gone up 25%. House prices have also gone up 25%. If only there was a reason why this could have happened.
Number of foreigners into Britain has gone up by 100%.
But there we are. Sorry, Freya. I tried my best of looking up in Cardiff what you could buy, and best of luck to you and your boyfriend who will come from this segment with a house offer, I presume. Go on, boys. Otherwise, that's that. Yeah, I saw that. A lot of boomers I saw were acting like, oh my God, what is she, stupid? Just buy a 250 grand house, like that first comment. And no, she can't. So things have changed. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Symposium series, this episode on existentialism and authenticity. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.